Jai Jagannath, Radhe Radhe. Welcome to our uh, weekly meeting. So, you before we started the recording, you were proposing a topic, a subject.
Yes.
Please tell.
So yeah, what I was asking is, on the path of bhakti, sometimes you feel very connected with Lord. You feel the connection, you feel the emotions, and sometimes your rational mind takes over and instructs you, okay, this is all emotional. Uh, like Lord is, and how it is described in Upanishads, it's beyond our explanation, beyond everything. These emotions are temporary. So how to balance, or what is the right path, and how to have it a smooth ride, not get with this conflicting heart versus brain thing, buddhi versus emotions. So
Yeah,
how to
but
get over it?
actually, it should be both working at the same time. In Gita, Krishna is saying, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. The brain or the reason, the intellect, the logic is the buddhi, the intelligence. Now, the bhakti is not just a sentimentalistic devotion. Uh, there's one neophyte level of bhakti. In the bhakti, teachers, they have been writing on the subject. They say ado shraddha. In the beginning, there must be a little faith. Then, with the faith, we start practicing. That is called Vidya, uh, Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti or Sadhana Bhakti. In yoga, we have all types of yoga follow the same yama niyama system. So we apply the sadhana in the best possible way, considering yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, and dhyana. When the dhyana becomes constant, it is called samadhi. Samadhi is very simple, it's a very simple concept. It's just the dhi or dhyana, the intellect, the buddhi, that is constantly equal, constant and solid, constantly solid. Samadhi. So the same level of awareness and consciousness and realization. Now, in the moments when you feel connected, usually, that those are the moments when you can attain realization, not just understanding. So there are three phases, three stages. The first one is the knowledge, theoretical knowledge. Because without the knowledge, what can we do? We cannot do anything. We're just, stuck in the in the ignorance. So the first stage is to acquire the knowledge, at least at theoretical level. The second stage is understanding the knowledge. Because first we read, we study, but in the process of study, we try to actually understand. We don't limit ourselves to just learning, putting things into memory, mechanically. we want to actually understand what we are studying. So understanding is a process, just like acquiring knowledge is a process. Then, through these two stages, we actually come up to realization. What is realization? In Sanskrit, this is called prakash, or when it's the Buddhists say it's the Buddhahood, the enlightenment. It's in the last few decades, people have started to call it paradigm shift. It's just like when you switch on the light, immediately everything appears to be much clearer. Everything starts to make sense. Realization is that moment when you actually have understood properly and you feel, you experience the understanding on a personal level. The first step in all sorts, all types of spiritual practice is overcoming material identification and attachment. This is, we have read the Bhagavad Gita. How many times Krishna says that? So many times. Because the material identification is like a wall, like walls that keep our consciousness enclosed, imprisoned, limited, restricted. We need to remove these walls. Either we tear them down, we demolish them, or we just get out. But the main point is that when we speak about spiritual practice, we are speaking about spirit. What is spirit? Spirit is transcendence. It's Atman Brahman. What is the Brahman? What is the Atman Brahman? This is how Bhagavad Gita starts. Krishna is explaining the difference between the kshetra and the kshetriya. We are not the body. We are Atman. We are spirit souls. So, as spirit souls, we have the exact same nature of God, Brahman. Only we are identical in quality, but we are very small in quantity. So we are like a cell in the body of God. Each cell is like all the other cells, fundamentally. But there are different functions according to the particular position, and all the cells are participating and serving and cooperating for the entire body. So, we as Jivatmas are cells in the body of the Virat Purusha. So, the quality is the same, quantity is very small, but the quality is the same. So, we are transcendence. We are Satchidananda Vigraha. Naturally, this is our nature. The problem is that when we identify with the material elements, we get confused. The material identification and attachment convince us that we are limited. So, we are different from God. We are separated from God. That is called the effect of Mahamaya. in reality, we are never separated from God. We cannot be separated from God because God is omnipresent. God is Sat, existence itself. How can we be separated from existence? We exist, therefore we are existence. We are part of the sum total of existence. So to paraphrase Descartes, the famous French philosopher, Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." And in fact, that's not correct. The Vedic philosophy, Vedic psychology, philosophy, theology says, "I exist, therefore I am." Because our characteristic is existence. Is that clear? Whenever you want to stop me to, ask questions and propose, observations, you please do, huh?
Yeah, this part is clear. So,
Okay. So, it is due to the material identification that we make a distinction between the brain and the heart. Because in God, all the Shaktis are one. The Adi Shakti manifests in different forms. The Adi Shakti manifests as Kali, as Lakshmi and Saraswati, manifests as Radha, manifests as all the various forms like the avatars also of the Mother Goddess, like Parvati, Rukmini, and so on, Sita Devi. In the same way, we are also made of the same energies. So the brain is our logical mind, which is a material element, but it's a subtle element. It's our subtle body. It's not us. We can bypass, we can overcome, we can go beyond the mind. How? By realization. So, we use the mind up to a point of realization. Then, when we achieve the level of realization, like Krishna says, when you have reached the realization, all that you have heard and all that you will hear will be of very little consequence because we see. Now, for example, if we want to taste the honey, okay, first we need to understand theoretically what the honey is. Then we go to look for the honey, and then we taste the honey. Now, the theoretical knowledge told us that the honey is sweet. But if you taste the honey, you don't need to read any books to understand that the honey is sweet. You don't need anyone to explain to you that the honey is sweet, because you have the direct perception. You have realized what the honey is. In exactly the same way, we are transcendence. We learn through the jnana process, the study, the learning. We know that we learn that we are Atman, we are transcendence. Satchitananda Vigraha. Now, we have to experience that. And the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining very nicely, says that the body is like a dress. It's like clothing. that we change, vasamsa jirnani yata vihaya. Just like we change the old clothes that are not suitable anymore, we discard them and we take new clothes. In the same way, we discard the old bodies and we take new bodies that are more suitable. This we do even during this lifetime, piece by piece, cell by cell. Every 7 years we change all the cells in our, almost all the cells in our body. So this process of getting the knowledge and experimenting the knowledge is through observation. For example, we look at the photos when we were 7 years old, when we are 21, when we are 28, when we are, 40, 50, 60, 70. Obviously, the body is different. If we want to have the biggest, see the biggest difference is you see the photo of a newborn baby and the photo of the same person when he's 80 years old, 70, or 50. So in this way, we can actually experience that we are not the body. Through the process of reincarnation, we can actually realize that we are not the body. Because we go through so many different bodies that naturally, by the laws of nature, we become detached from the idea that we are the material body. That is not due to the heart or to the brain. It's something we see directly. The heart will help, the brain will help. We need to put them in balance. We need to make them work together properly. Because, Krishna is saying many times in Bhagavad Gita, nirdvandvo. We need to give up the illusion of duality. The illusion of duality is that we need to follow either the heart or the brain. No. We need both of them. Because if we just follow the heart, we'll make mistakes. Because heart brings emotion, attachment. But, emotions and attachment and attraction without knowledge is dangerous. Because we don't understand the difference. We don't know the difference between Shreya and Preya. Shreya means what is actually good, and Preya means what we like. So Krishna in Gita says that the happiness in sattva, in the beginning, it can be like poison. It can be difficult. But in the end, it's like nectar. And on the other, in the opposite direction, in the happiness in Raj starts like nectar and ends up like poison. Because we have to pay for all the gratification, all the things that we consume, all the things we get. There is always a price to pay. But, if we rise from rajas to sattva, we can have a good balance of both. So, we can make sattvic happiness also nectar in the beginning. It depends. We need to put some, attractiveness in the sadhana. Otherwise, if we don't make it comfortable, we'll not be able to follow it. So that is why Krishna says, Susukam kartum avyayam. The yoga sadhana can be avyayam, kartum avyayam, can be performed permanently, constantly, without failing, only if it is susukam, if it is comfortable and happy enough. Otherwise, we'll give up. We'll give up. Because, how much we can take. So, we can train both our heart and our brain. Sometimes our brain is stronger, sometimes our heart is stronger. But it's like a chariot that is pulled by two horses. If the two horses don't run in the same direction, we are in trouble. If the two horses are not going at the same speed, we are in trouble. So brain and heart, intelligence and emotion, logic and emotion must go together. This is why knowledge is so important. We start with the knowledge, we understand the knowledge, and then we realize it. When we have realized the knowledge, there is nothing that can change our, stop our vision, our view. Because it is part of ourselves. We have experience, we know it. We know it. Like, anything, like, for example, learning the characteristics of fire. The theory, people can tell you, fire burns. So with the fire you can cook, you can light the candles, you can light the dipa, the dhupa, lots of stuff. You can do so many things, but you have to be careful because the fire burns. So you cannot touch the fire directly. If anything is on fire, you have to be very careful. You need some tools to move the thing around. You want to remove a pot from the fire, you need to know how to do it, because otherwise you burn yourself. And this is how you start the fire, this is how you put out the fire. This is all theory, knowledge. Then you start making experiments. You can build a fire, you can learn how to manage a fire, how to use the fire. And that is the experimentation process. When you have experienced enough, you have verified, then working with fire becomes your second nature. You don't need to think about, the fact, I have to be careful because the fire is hot. No, that's normal. You already, it's part of your established consciousness. You know that the fire is hot. Because you have seen it, you have experienced. So it will never come to you that you can put your hand inside the fire. You don't even have to think about it. You're not going to do it because you know. You understand? This is the realization. The same is about bhakti. Once we have realized that we are not the body, we are the Atman, then, like Gita is saying, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasochati Nakankshati Samak Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. So the real bhakti can be achieved only when we are on the transcendental level, when we have at least realized that we are not the body, we are Atman. When we understand, when we realize we are Atman, we can understand God. We can realize what God is. Because God is a sum total of all the Atman, of all the existence. So, you have this experience. You can experience God directly. Then there is no more question of your logical intellect having doubts, because you can see it. It's like the sunlight. In the night, you can make you can have doubts, you can have sometimes you're thinking, what is the sun? I don't know the sun. You've never seen the sun before, okay? So people tell you about the sun. Okay, sunlight, the sun is warm, the sun is radiant, there is light, there is whatever, you can see things. But that's all theory. Then the sun rises and you see that the sun is actually there. You can experience the sun. When your experience is direct and complete, you actually understand the sun, then nobody needs to explain to you what the sun is, because you know. You don't you don't have your brain giving you the doubts maybe the sun does not exist, maybe I'm not seeing the sun. That's not it's not necessary. It doesn't even come to your mind because you have experienced the sun. When you are still in an intermediate state, so you can see the sun from the window or from a telescope or whatever, you can still have some doubts. Maybe okay, that light so far, maybe it's not the sun, maybe it's a light bulb, maybe okay. But when you actually experience the sun, it's realization. It becomes that knowledge, that awareness, that consciousness is part of you. You understand?
Yes.
Any questions or elaboration?
Okay, I understand that uh, it has to
Theoretically.
be both, and at one point, once you realize, then these questions would not be there. But on running both the horses in parallel.
Yeah, that's the trick.
it,
That is why the sadhana is there. Sadhana means training the horses. Keeping the horses, connected and training them to keep their attention, focus, keep their focus. The problem, you see, the main problem is when we think we know, but we actually don't know. We think that for one reason or another we know God, because well, that's God, and people remain superficial, mechanical. You've been, I believe you've been to this Gita Path or Bhagavata Saptaha, or people go there and they don't focus because they think that just by sitting there they're getting some kind of energy purifying and whatever, so they don't need to focus, they don't need to understand. But it's like when you're thirsty, if you go into the shower and take a shower, it's already, it helps a little, but you need to drink. You need to get the water inside your body, because otherwise you'll remain thirsty. So, so people have become so superficial and mechanical and, not really engaged, not really interested. They take it as a theoretical, philosophical exercise, academic, scholarly exercise, social event exercise, a cultural program or ethnic tradition and whatever, but they are just, licking the outside of the jar of the honey. They are not really tasting the honey. That's why people are confused. They don't know what they're actually doing. So without going into the personal and confidential, if you actually experience transcendence, you will find that the brain and the heart are actually automatically, naturally going in the same direction, because the brain understands and the heart is supporting, with love and courage and affection and respect, and desire to serve. And the brain is helping because you understand how to serve better, how to love better. Otherwise, if it becomes just a matter of faith, you need to believe, you need to do some duty and believe, that's not going to give you sufficient satisfaction. Because they say ador shraddha. The shraddha is required in the beginning to start engaging seriously in the process. You cannot go on all your life only based on faith. This is the problem with the Abrahamic religions. It means they have nothing but faith. They need to just to have faith. They cannot have knowledge. What they are going to experience? They cannot experience anything. Because they can convince themselves they experience something, but that's a different thing, because, you don't become nasachati nakankshati, samasarvesha bhutesha. Bhagavad Gita is giving us all the symptoms, all the parameters for the application of the knowledge. All the verification criteria for, finding out, for checking if you have actually understood, if you are actually realizing something, or it's just, your fantasy or someone else's fantasy you are believing in, So that is the big key to solve, for solving the problem. I don't know, is that helpful?
Yes, yes.
Good. Because bhakti is not about performance. It's not about faith. It's not about academic knowledge. It's not about rituals. It's not about duties. Bhakti is just about love. How can you love someone you don't know? You may think you love that person. If you don't know that person, really, you don't really know that person, how can you actually be sure you love that person? You need to have experience of relating to that person, direct experience. Otherwise, you can say, "Oh, I like that person," But how can you say, "I love that person"? Really, if you don't know the person, you can feel some attraction, but the attraction is coming and going. So sometimes you're attracted, sometimes you're not. But this is the normal situation when we start the sadhana, because we don't have sufficient experience yet. We don't have sufficient knowledge. We don't have sufficient experience. And obviously our realization is limited. It's not a switch on and off. It's a process, it's a journey. So it's gradual. But still, nobody can tell you if you have eaten or drank sufficient water, enough. Only you can feel it. So if you're happy, if you're feeling happy, if you're happy, if you're satisfied, if you're not too worried about things, if you're not greedy or aspiring or expecting a lot, that's the transcendental position. You're happy. We are happiness. We are Satchitananda. Ananda means happiness. So we are happiness. So when you realize your real nature, you must be happy. And the fact that you are happy means you are favorable to all beings. Samasa Veshabhutashu. All beings and all situations. In every situation, the Atma is always happy. Never really, disturbed. The mind and the body are disturbed. Yeah, sure. that's normal. If we want to go deeper into the Bhakti rasa, in the Sikshastra, Krishna Chaitanya says, that whether Krishna is, making me suffer by not being visible to me, or if he crushes me in his embrace. Now, Krishna is still my prananath. Still my the Lord of my soul, the Lord of my life. So we need to, have some patience, because, we'll go through. But on that transcendental level, the level of Mahabhav, Raganuga, and even Mahabhav, when you don't feel Krishna's presence, you are actually, ironically, you're feeling Krishna's presence even more. When we miss a person, we are feeling very intensely for that person. That is the idea of the Vipralambha rasa. But that, we shouldn't worry about that yet. We first have to get to the level, the transcendental level, where we know that Krishna is omnipresent. So it's really impossible to be separated. The illusion of separation in the Vipralambha rasa is due to Yoga Maya, not to Mahamaya. It looks similar, but it's it's a different type of feeling. Okay, any question at this point?
No.
Uh-oh. I hope I didn't shake you too much.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a journey. It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Take some, like Krishna say, constant practice and detachment. It's possible. Constant practice and detachment. You have to take it seriously. Most people don't take it seriously. So they get what they get. May take more lifetimes, but they eventually get there. Okay, so I went on for almost 1 hour. You want to add anything? to
No, I
the...
think you explained
I
that.
explained enough.
Explained everything, all the
Yeah, well,
aspects.
this is my personal realization, and I know there will be difficult times. There will be difficult times, but not because of the soul. The difficult times come because of the material elements. Because of the body and the mind and the circumstances. The adhyatmika klesha, the adibhautika klesha, and the adidaivika klesha. They're all distracting us from our, real consciousness. So, we sometimes we get wet from the storms, but it's something external that we need to be patient. Like they said, patience, enthusiasm, and determination. And you know, we need to love ourselves. We need to be compassionate to ourselves. We need to be reasonable with ourselves. We should, uh, make reasonable targets. Start small and then we grow. Many people, they want to do quick. Especially today, we want everything quick. Then if we want to try to do things quickly and we put too much pressure on ourselves, then it's more dangerous because we are more likely to break a leg, than to give up because we cannot make it. So we have to be detached also from the idea of not making it. Making or not make is not a problem. Problem is we have to keep doing it. Like Krishna said, karmanyeva dikaraste, not phalesa kadachana. It also applies to this. It also applies to spiritual life. We have the power, the right. We have the right to make our reasonable and conscience, aware, with conscious effort. But the result, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Then we try again, and at some point it will work. We just keep trying, patience, enthusiasm, determination. We'll get there. No problem. Is that helping?
Yes, definitely.
Good. So don't worry. Doubts are a function of the intelligence. Someone who never has doubts, okay, maybe, I don't
Krishna says
know.
that Sanshayatma Vinashyati. So
Yeah,
constantly
yeah.
having
I
doubts
mean,
after
if
so many years of being in bhakti sometimes
yeah, the point is,
feel
yeah, the Krishna is saying someone who's always doubting, cannot get moved beyond the doubt. Then it's a problem. But getting doubt, if the doubt is pushing us to actually verify, research, verify, experiment, then doubt is a good thing. You understand? If the doubt is
yes.
in, again, like Krishna is saying, in Gita is explaining the three forms of faith, three forms of intelligence, three forms according to the gunas. In the same way, we can have the doubts in sattva guna that are supporting us, and encouraging us to research and verify and find, the actual, things, the reality check. Then we have the doubts in Rajas Guna that are, sometimes up and sometimes down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You keep moving, it's restless. The mind is restless. So, mind comes up with all this sort of stuff. Then if we run after the mind in all directions, that is doubt in Rajas Guna. And the doubt in tamas is that, okay, I don't believe in anything, so, who cares? That is a type of, cynical mentality that, we will not get out of the doubting phase. The doubt is useless. It's an end to itself. It's not a means to improve your knowledge. Just keep you stuck in the I don't believe in anything. Okay, yeah, well, stay there. When you're tired, you'll get out. So it's it's not a problem. But in tamas, we cannot be happy. We cannot find the answers. We cannot progress. We're just stuck. Okay. So this is also clear, huh?
Yes.
Good. Okay. So if you want to discuss anything more on this subject?
No, I think we touched everything.
It's okay. Good.
I think, yeah, maybe time and again when you come across this, if you hear
we can
somebody who has
return on
realized
this.
it, it helps.
Yeah. But it is important that you formulate the question in the proper, in the best possible way. And if you want, we can also have private conversations without publishing the video. If it becomes more personal, like what kind of sadhana you're doing, what kind of problems you are finding, that is not meant to be, published. We now, on the channel, we are just talking about things that can be useful to more people, to everyone. But we can also discuss it, in private, if you like. Okay, so thank you very much. We got our the hour. next time. Jai Jagannath. Jai Radhe.
Jai Jagannath. Jai Radhe.